I'd like to discuss a controversial product today, the Taurus Judge, but not this Judge. Today I'm looking at the concealed carry version, the Public Defender, a shrunken down, miniaturized Judge. Now before we go into this though, I want to address why I'm talking about judges. The internet is rife with opinions and declarations and fights about this product more than just about any product I've ever seen. Except, well, perhaps, when the original Glock came out and people declared, I'd never work with a plastic pistol, that's insane. But over the years, I think Glock and polymer has proven itself pretty well. But it seems like we're going through the same kind of thing here with the Judge. There are people who are declaring that this thing cannot possibly work. In fact, there was a review from a major writer that really got me thinking about this, because he declared in his review, he says, I refuse to do a review on this because I refuse to waste that much time on a product that I know inherently cannot possibly produce acceptable results. And I thought, that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you're a writer and you're there to review a product, why not review it and demonstrate what it does and what it doesn't do? And if it gets acceptable results, show them. And if it's incapable of getting acceptable results, actually show it. Don't just base it on some prejudice or preconceived notion. Now, there are a lot of reasons why people like or don't like the Judge. And I think what's going on here is that some of these notions were formed early on when it first came out, and people had never experienced a product like this, and so they formed some rash opinions, and then once those opinions were made, they'll go to their grave dying to defend those opinions, which, again, I think is silly. We should just evaluate the product based on what it really actually does or doesn't do. And that's what I'm here to do. That's why you see so much ammo in front of me. I have put this thing to the test. I'm not just going to get up here and say, Judge is great or Judge is trash. I'm going to actually find out what the product really, really does and show you what it does. So the complaints, as near as I can tell, center around a few basic complaints. Number one, the Judge is too big for what it does. And I can see that complaint. Being that the cylinder is very long to accommodate the shot shells, it does make a reasonably large pistol. But on the other hand, what else out there do we have, really? Any shrunken down, micro-sized 45 caliber big bore pistols? There's not a lot of them out there. And if we compare them against what there is, for example, I have a Springfield XDS. This is a 45 caliber pistol. This Judge here is a 45 caliber pistol. This has a 5+1 capacity. This has a 5-round cylinder. Largely the same. This is a shrunken down version of a larger pistol, and the Public Defender is a shrunken down version of the larger Judge. It's got a shorter grip here. It also has a shorter barrel. The initial Judge had a 3-inch barrel. This one has a 2-inch barrel, which, we're going to find out. Does that affect performance, etc.? But going back to the XDS for just a minute, it's not that much smaller, is it? I mean, when I line them up side by side here, just looking at them over the top, they're about the same length for the bulk of it. Looking height-wise, they're pretty much exactly the same height-wise. Now, the difference really comes in that the XDS's grip is right behind the top there, so you get to see a little bit more overhang with the Judge. So yes, the Judge is a little bigger, but considering they're both 45 caliber pistols, they're both small concealed carry weapons, I don't think it's outrageously sized. It is big, and it's harder to conceal carry because of that. But I don't think it's outrageously huge. So the second thing then becomes, people say that the Judge is not powerful. It is a little snubby, so it doesn't actually have any punch to it. So I have gone out and tried to test this, and I have shot a lot of ammo. I'm showing you a variety of the type of rounds that I've put through the Judge. I probably put more different types of rounds through a Judge than just about anybody out there, because I'm really trying to get to the bottom of what this thing really does. So in terms of 45 Colt, I've shot the full metal jackets and the hollow points, and the critical defense and the gold dots. I've got some semi-wog cutters. I've got buffalo bores. I've done even 45 Schofields. So a lot of different types of rounds because I want to see how effective this is as a pistol. And as my benchmark, I'm going to use the XDS, one of the most popular concealed carry firearms on the market today. 3.3 inch barrel, 45 ACP against 2-inch barrel, 45 Colt. Now the way to compare them was I got Hornady Critical Defense, because this is, fascinatingly enough, this uses the exact same bullet in 45 Colt as 45 ACP, and it's loaded to, if you look at the Hornady ballistics, about the same. It's 900 feet per second in one and 920 feet per second in the other from a test barrel. I want to find out how quickly they could throw that 185 grain bullet, each of them. So I set them up to shoot over a chronograph, did a 10-shot reading, and basically the Public Defender did an average, 10-shot average of 870 feet per second. The XDS did 901. 870 versus 901. That is practically statistically a tie. They're about identical. I think it's about 2.5% difference. So that means that the Public Defender is every bit as effective as the XDS as far as a pistol, as far as hitting power, as far as how fast it can throw that lead and how hard it will hit. Well, that wasn't good enough for me. I want to know even further because, you know, the XDS is not limited to just regular ammo. You can also use plus P ammo. So I got a hold of some gold dots, 200 grain plus P ammo, and I'm going to compare that against Buffalo Bore 45 Colts. Buffalo Bore loads their ammo. They claim to load it hotter than anybody else, still to full maximum SAMI pressure, but not exceeding it. So I figured, well, this is the hottest round I can get for a Public Defender, and this, being a plus P round, is about the hottest round I'm going to get for the XDS. So I put those over the chronograph. How did that turn out? About the same. We got 940 feet per second throwing 200 grains of lead with the Buffalo Bores. And in the XDS, we got 970 feet per second. So again, a little tiny bit more, about 3% more, but certainly within the ballpark. You couldn't say one is vastly better than the other. They're almost statistically insignificant. To me, that's proof positive that this is a hard-hitting pistol. If you're going to acknowledge that the XDS 45 ACP is a hard-hitting pistol, then another one that sends the exact same bullet, exact same weight at almost identical speed, you have to acknowledge that's a pretty hard-hitting pistol too. So as a 45 Colt, I think the Judge hits just fine. But can it hit? That's the other big complaint that I see from people who hate the Judge, is that they believe that inherently this product must be inaccurate. And they can give you all sorts of, theories as to why that is. Primarily it focuses on the cylinder here, because a 45 Colt bullet only takes up about half the cylinder length. So the rest of the cylinder is what we call free bore. It's not rifled, it's just this empty space. And so the theory goes that, you put the bullet in here and it'll, as soon as it gets fired, it'll be bouncing and rattling around on this free bore before it makes the jump into the forcing cone, finally hits the rifling, and then goes. And then further complaints are that the rifling is very shallow in the Judge, because the Judge was designed to handle shot shells as well as pistol rounds, and so the rifling that it has is quite shallow. All those things may be true, but there's a real easy way to get to the bottom of it. Let's just put it on a ransom rest and find out how accurate it actually is. This is the ransom rest that I used, and this is basically, it's not just like shooting from a bench rest. This removes all possible user error out of the equation. When you use a ransom rest, when you use it properly, you absolutely identify what the pistol is capable of, and you remove all human error from the equation. Using the ransom rest, shooting at a self-defense distance of 21 feet, 7 yards, that's 5 bullets in about an inch. I don't care about free bore. I don't care about whatever other explanations there are. I think this is the true test. And this is not perfect. You're not going to win the National Rifle Association Pistol Shooting Championship with this. But remember, the Judge is designed as a personal defense weapon. And given that context, if you had to face somebody across the room, the ability to put 5 shots within an inch has got to be considered pretty reasonable accuracy. I then also shot at 25 yards, 75 feet, and we got about a 5.5 inch group. That's not ideal. I would like to see it under 4 inches. So maybe we have a case here of where both sides are right, that it is actually plenty accurate for the job it's designed for, but it is not quite as accurate as some other pistols may be. I'm okay with that, because I like to look at these products in context of what they were designed to do. And basically, first of all, if you're shooting somebody at 75 feet away, you better have a really good reason, or you're going to face some legal ramifications for that. You can definitely count on a prosecuting attorney bringing that up as a factor. But even if you had to shoot somebody at 75 feet, you got to hit them. I mean, the gun will do its part. That is a man-sized torso from 75 feet away. I think the accuracy is acceptable. It's not a target pistol, but it's plenty acceptable. That's the end of part 1. Thanks for watching so far, and click the link above to be taken to part 2, where we explore using shotgun ammunition in the Public Defender, and we reveal the truth about its effectiveness.